So one of the leading cause of failure in crop farming is when you have a mismatch of crop, of a type of crop and a type of soil. Uh, that is when you are planting the wrong type of crop on the wrong type of soil. And on today's episode, I just want to share an experience and talk about how farmers should select the best type of crop for the best type of soil. Basically, what we have in classification, what we have two different type of soil and two different type of crop. The two different type of crop we have based on the root classification is deep rooted crop and we have the shallow rooted crops. Whereas on the other side of the soil, the classification based on profile. I'm not talking about based on overall generality of type of soil where we have sandy, loamy, or clay soil. I'm talking about classification based on profile. What we have is a deep soil and shallow soil. Now, the problem many people used to have is that some people, because of lack of knowledge or because of lack of information, they end up planting a deep-rooted crop on a shallow soil. And when this happens, that is a complete mismatch. There is no amount of magic you want to do. There is no amount of fertilizer you want to apply. That crop will not perform at the optimal level. Now, I've visited a farm before, somewhere around Osun State. The man planted plantain, but the plantain are doing woefully bad. On getting there, I discovered that this is a shallow soil and plantain is a deep-rooted crop. So you are planting a deep-rooted crop on a shallow soil. The problem now is that for us to understand it better, let me just give a description of deep-rooted and shallow-rooted crop and deep soil and shallow-rooted crop and how you identify them. So deep soil. Deep soil are soil that have, as in, they are deep. They don't have hard pan, and you can go in easily. Like you can dig a rod or a cutlass into the soil easily, and you can go as far as 1 meter before you meet an obstruction that will not give way, before you meet an hard pan. Now, whereas on the other side, for shallow soil, you will not go beyond 0.5 meter before you meet an hard pan. And in most cases, you will even see the surface of the soil looking rough, showing some kind of rocky terrain. Those are shallow crop, and those are shallow soil. And the characteristic of a deep-rooted crop, deep soil, is that they have capability to hold water. They have high water holding capacity, and they have high nutrient. If soil can hold water, they also tends to have high nutrient holding capacity, and uh, that is just that with deep soil. But shallow soil, they are prone to erosion. They have loose particles. They have more of loose particles, and they lack nutrient one way or the other. And one thing about them is that when you plant on them and you plant a deep rooted crop are crops that they are usually heavy feeders and they have a very, very vibrant rooting system. An example of them are cassava. We have tree crops. All tree crops are deep rooted crops. We have cassava, we have yam, any crops that have vibrant rooting system. We have maize, even yes, maize. You can be thinking maybe it's a cereals. Maize and wheat, they are deep-rooted crop. They have very vibrant rooting system. So when you plant this type of crop that have rooted system, tree crop on a shallow root, anchorage is a problem. They don't have, as in they will not be having that grip on the ground, which will affect their development. And that is where the problem will comes in. So now, when you now look at it, the deep-rooted crop, they have fibrous rooting system, they want anchorage, they want grip on the ground, and they require a lot of nutrients. So when you are taking a deep-rooted crop onto a shallow soil, there will be a problem. It's a complete mismatch. So whenever you want to choose the type of crop to plant on your farm, make sure you understand the type of soil on your land first. Know maybe it is a deep soil or it is a shallow soil. Now, example of shallow rooted crop, we have legumes and peas, things like beans, soya bean, cover crops, generally cover crops, groundnut. Those are crops that can survive uh, very well on shallow soil. And one thing with shallow rooted crop is that shallow rooted crop can be planted anywhere. They can be planted on a deep soil or shallow soil. But in the case of shallow rooted crop, if you plant them or if you grow them on a shallow soil, there will be problem because they will not be having that grip. The shallow soil are usually loose, they lack nutrients, and they are filled with rocks and pebbles. They have hard pan. And when they have hard pan and you are growing a tree crop that is a deep-rooted crop that will go down very well, you are growing it on a soil that have hard pan. That one will prevent the development of the rooting system. And when the development of the rooting system is being prevented, definitely it will hamper the development. And when anything is happening with the development of your crop, definitely productivity will be in danger. So I think I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you more. So when next time you want to plant, know the type of crop you want to plant. I've given you, we have, based on rooting system, we have only deep root crop and shallow rooted crop. So don't make the mistake of mismatching a type of crop with a different type of soil. Deep rooted crop are best grown on deep soil. Don't try it on shallow soil. And shallow rooted crop can be grown anywhere. So, and I've said the how to identify a shallow soil is that you will not go further more than 0.5 meter before you meet an obstruction that you will not be able to go again. So the best way to test is when after a rain, after an heavy rain, you can go to your farmland, go with a strong cutlass and dip it into the soil. If you meet an obstruction early enough, in no distance time, if you meet an obstruction very, very hard, that is a shallow rooted crop. If you are planting a deep rooted crop on that type of soil, definitely that crop will be meeting that obstruction, which is an hard pan, and that will impede the development of the rooting system. It is not good for your tree crop. With this, I've come to the end of today's topic, and I hope you got value one way or the other from this topic. If you're watching for the first time, this channel is dedicated to promote sustainable and profitable agriculture. So if you are interested in content like this, kindly click on the subscribe button to have access to much of my videos. Thank you for your time and see you on the next one. Sheshe.